Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Play vs. Fall 2020 High School Championship. My name is Matt Niberia Daniel, joined by the one and only Matthew Cubby Samuelson. Cubby, how are you today?
Doing great. Excited to bring some League of Legends action your way, and got some talented high school teams facing off against each other with a different state this time around.
Yep, we got New York on the docket today, which is really exciting for me because they're kind of local. I don't know if we're going to see a Delaware at some point. Really hope we do, but I also really highly doubt we will. So New York might be the closest I get, which is exciting for me. I love their bagels and know nothing else about their state, and hopefully that's enough for the fans at home. But before we get into that, we're going to head on over and check out the format of the tournament. Just like any other state championship, this is going to be single elimination, best of 3 series coming down on Summoner's Rift. We're going to have 29 teams total, or 29 leagues total, rather, both state and regional. So we're going to be checking those out throughout the following days. So it's really exciting for me to get to see all of these different competitions coming, especially as someone who, you know, when I was in high school, esports was like barely a thing. And it definitely was not something that people would consider, you know, having for high school. It was there's some nerds over there.
Yeah. Were you like Warcraft 3 or StarCraft, anything like that?
God. In high school, that would have been StarCraft 2. I was watching a lot of Day 9 playing some StarCraft 2. League of Legends had just come out a few years prior. Started playing around season 2. And I think I started playing senior year of high school. So
second year of high school was League for me.
But I definitely, for context, would not have been to the point where I can make it to states of anything. I think I was like sub-bronze, and this was before iron was a thing. So I was like a solid bronze 4, but at least I wasn't bronze 5. You know, like that was the pride that kept me going.
I was one stroke off from making it downstate as a golfer, so I'm just going to have the inner angst come through on this cast. Yeah.
That hurts, brother. That's rough. But at least, you know, these guys have made it, right? We get to be happy for them.
To the championship.
State championship coming up. So I'm really excited to get into this game. We've got an Udyr player that I'm really excited to see, who's played a ton of Udyr. Scouted their OPGG later. I really hope that we're going to get to see it played. We have not seen the drafts, and we are not going to be going into draft. We're going to be going straight into the game. So I'm just going to close my eyes and hope that when I open them, I'm going to see an Udyr. All right, go for it, Producer Pine. And someone tell me when.
When? Niberia?
Okay. It's an Udyr. Let's go.
Oh,
all right.
Let's go. All right.
Okay. So I'm going to do the diagnostics here. Also, with Zera's, okay. We'll address that in a second. I'm just going to No, we will.
What do you got for me, Niberia?
Okay, so this is an interesting build. A lot of the Udyr, if they go Phoenix, are going not Aftershock, but Phase Rush, so they can keep up with their targets. And sometimes they'll go Ghost. Flash is still an option, though. So I'm interested to see what this is. I'm interested to see if this is like a Demonic Embrace hybrid build, or if it's just plain old Tiger build, but spec'd more towards tanky, go in, go out, disengage. But considering it's Aftershock, I think Phoenix is a better fit.
So I'm going to keep the Flash Bear slaps, man. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on that as it develops, because this is like really interesting to me. Also, shout outs to Ernest Elf Tristana, one of the best skins in the game. But looking at the other bot lane, Zera support, Cubby, what's up with that?
As a fellow support player, all I have to say is it's cheesy. And you're looking to get a lot of early damage off, try and get through that lane with dominance in the laning phase. So I think we're going to have to see if Taker Right can get things right down there, land those skill shots, and try and take out this Tristana Lulu early. If so, it's a feast or famine champ we're not in.
Oh my goodness. Did you see that Udyr skin?
Yeah, it's...
So the classic animations really coming to fight it back.
Definitely does not need any graphics. I know there's been like the argument forever that Spirit Guard Udyr should be just Udyr. Like that should be the skin. But I kind of like having the old school. We got to have at least one champion with like remnants of Pizza Feet.
I would like it to stay as like when they do an Udyr VGU, I want it to be like a traditional Udyr skin. That's just the OG. I want black belt Udyr to stay the same.
I want the most like scuffed skin possible. Right?
That's black belt Udyr.
Yes,
He's like the
perfect.
most Pizza Feet. They changed the animation for the stances, but they're not like good. They're like the same level of bad, but different. He has little Dorito fingers when he hits Tiger Stance. Black Belt is great. Black Belt, if you're ever looking for a good time and you have like 900 RP sitting around, Black Belt Udyr, I trust me, it's so funny. It's not good, but it's funny.
I think that we're like, you're giving me an idea for a new skin coming through here in Iberia, which going on theme with Pizza Delivery Sivir, Pizza Feet Yi. I feel like Riot, you get this idea. This is a banger idea. You can have it. Just, you know, have your people get in touch with my people. We'll figure this one out eventually.
Well, in mid though, Annie getting a little bit of trouble. Isek there on the Annie pick, and this is something again I have not seen in a long time. Someone's been listening to too many LS streams.
I can actually help with this. It is very good in Illusion, because the point and click stun with the Q is one way to deal with him dashing away. And the base damage from Tibbers is a lot for him to handle. It can also block the culling. So it's a pretty good counter matchup coming in. And surprised to see it, but happy to see it. We're playing this as well. For background, I coach a collegiate team. So we actually we've tried this in scrims, and it's not that bad.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would have expected it to be like kind of all right, but not great. Looking down in the bot lane, though, we talked about the support Xerath, but we didn't really talk about the Tristana much, which is interesting to me because Tristana really has not been meta forever. But right now she's strong. She has a ton of burst coming out. The items help her out a lot. But the one thing you'll be noticing, and the one thing that Rep Zero and Clank are suffering for right now, Tristana wave clear under tower is atrocious. Because every single minion kill you get messes up your last hit. So it's just like near impossible.
Let me tell you, Xerath's not helping with that one either, because he is just hard shoving in that lane. It's tough for them right now.
And that's like how you should play it. So I think this is really good. I wonder if this was the Xerath Xayah was like a counter pick into seeing the Tristana, because if it was, it's doing a really good job, Covey.
Yeah, and one thing that obviously is going to be good with the Tristana Lulu as we go on, this lane scales really nicely, right? With all those Lulu buffs coming on through, and Tristana has so much safety in her kit as the game goes on with that jump away, or that rocket jump that resets, and then the buster shot as well. So hopefully Rep Zero can make something happen later, but for right now, he's getting bullied pretty good in the bot lane. And props to NASCAR and the Xerath as well for playing this lane out correctly, as you pointed out. What I also want to point out, though, is Nigeria, do we have an early dragon here being taken by the Burly Burger?
Looks like we do. So this is one of Udyr's really big strengths as a jungler, is that he can solo dragons starting at, I believe, level 4. Depending on your itemization, depending on your stance, but he doesn't even need any items to do it. Problem is, Humphrey, what a great name, is starting to look at this. There's the snowball coming in. No, just smite it! You don't have smite! Why are you soloing it without smite? Oh no! Oh no! Oh god, and Nunu missed the smite, and Udyr still didn't. Oh god.
Oh, it's a disaster for this Udyr. That's just right place at the right time here for Humphrey on the Nunu, rolling on up and taking on down the Udyr. Gets the bonus Drake as well. It's going to be some sad bear hours for this Udyr, as Annie's in trouble now too.
She used to flash away.
Oh,
Here
boy.
comes the snowball. That was a beautiful gank. She just did not have an angle from which to be safe. And this is like starting to look really, really rough for the side of BHS, because I really thought that Brighton would be having a pretty decent time in this, especially given how strong their top lane was going.
Oh no.
Ooh, good
Nice.
juke out of there from Graceful Steel. Living up to their aim.
Very nice coming out from the Camille in the top lane. The highest ranked player on this roster, sitting up there, just showing off some of those good mechanics right there, dodging out on that one as Tristana.
Should be gone.
Yep. Man, this Xerath, he's being a real pain in the butt so far in Iberia.
Yeah, which I really wasn't expecting. I'm morbidly curious to see how his build goes.
Ludens, man, go damage.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ludens, but also
Everball.
one item I think we don't see like ever. I think Stingers have recently been picking it up, if I recall correctly. Horizon Focus,
Oh, yeah.
because it is like surprisingly strong. As Vinquin is just getting chased down by this Camille.
I'm curious to see if he goes Everfrost for the added utility coming out of support as well.
Yeah.
Like maybe a root or an extra slow.
I think my only concern with that, while I'm thinking through it, is like if you're ever in range to actually hit the Everfrost as Xerath, you're already dead. Right, because he's like so squishy and he's meant to operate from such a huge range. And Everfrost is what, like 550, 600 range?
It's a shorter range. The nice part about it though is that you can chain it with your stun on Xerath. So he does have that option, and he already does a lot of line damage. So I mean, like, what's one
That's
more,
true.
right?
just all the
Yeah.
line damage possible.
Yeah, we want all the line damage possible. As Burly Burger was establishing burger dominance in Burrito's lane, as now we have Snowball dominance coming on through. They're going to possibly find Annie. Just a little bit of harass coming on down. Second time Xerath's made his way up into this mid lane, and now into the top lane. Pantheon, he might be in trouble.
Burly Burger, you should have this. Come on, show us the Udyr. Able to pick up Vinquin pretty easily. Tiger stancing it away. So it does look like this is Tiger stance tank Udyr, which, to be frank, of the Udyr variations, this is my least favorite. Ooh.
You want to see the Flash Bear Slaps do lots of damage, not just...
That and... So there's been a change in Udyr. We just saw Burly Burger going Phoenix stance on the Rift Herald. There's been a change in Udyr ever since, I want to say, Season 8, where you can now go 6 points into any of his stances.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because nobody plays Udyr, so you never have to know
I
that.
sure don't.
Just like Rise Q got a 6th level at one point. The problem when you go both Tiger and Phoenix stances, we've seen Burly Burger do, is yes, you have a wider variety of the types of damage you can deal, but you are suffering from missing that final point. And as a result, you're going to end up going probably the old build for Udyr, which was you put 5 points into each and then 3 into your final stand.
Okay.
It's either that or you're just going to not get the last point. So I'm curious to see how this pans out.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see the optimization as well, because Turbo Chem Tank, obviously that move speed in Udyr can be very helpful, landing those bear slaps. Also, the Frozen Fist, the slows can help stick a little bit longer. Is Lulu gonna fall victim to the Xerath blast went in, and a 2v2 in the top lane? This might be close.
Looking for it, able to find a little bit of damage. Udyr finds the stun. Pantheon low, gets out of the engage.
No.
Tons of damage about to come out from Humphrey. There it is. Double kill, easy pop. One for Burrito, one for Nunu and Willem there for Humphrey.
Yeah, Nunu.
Love that name.
I love it too. And Humphrey, he's taking a big chomp out of that burger with not only the chomp that Nunu and Willem can do, but also that ultimate doing so much damage in the top lane, turning around that 2v2. And all of a sudden, Iberia, top lane, they win that. Mid lane, they got Lucian ahead by the roam coming out of Xerath, and this bot lane continues to pressure. It feels like a full court press coming out here from Sachem.
It's really interesting for me because I was really high on Brighton going into the earlier phases of this game. Like, look, I know Udyr is not the greatest champion of all time, but he's genuinely... He's cool, and he's also good at chasing down. And if you're looking for a champion that can just man fight, look no further. And I think into this composition, if he can find... He cannot just walk at them, but if they end up engaging into him, he should just win. But we're not seeing that happen so far. And I think Sachem are doing a really good job of capitalizing on the few leads they've been able to find. Especially, I want to shout out Humphrey for these ganks. But I will say that Vinquin is really struggling in this top lane, despite having 2 assists, despite having taken down the Camille. Graceful Steel is just walking all over this matchup.
Something that we somewhat expected coming out from Brighton. I know that one of the things we were high on is the fact that Graceful Steel seems like one of the stronger players on their roster, and their mid laner as well, rocking some pretty nice stats coming into this game. As Brighton, they took 3rd in the regular season. They a little bit of the underdogs, but we still felt like they had a pretty good chance to make this a series. Well, it seems like game 1 not getting the best of the map so far, as Sachem has done a good job with this Nunu running snowballs into all the lanes and setting this Annie behind.
And this is post Pantheon mini rework, right?
Yes.
Where they put a lot of power into his damage instead to try and pull him out of the support role. I'm intrigued by that, knowing that going into this, because I would think Pantheon would win this matchup top, but that is not what we're seeing, especially with this jungle pressure from Burlyberg. He's just getting bullied time after time. There's Pantheon. We can see getting
Flash Bear Slap.
Flash Bear Slap. There it was.
Comes on out. Not gonna be enough. Camille couldn't follow up or use that ultimate, but hey, still kill going over into the pockets of Brighton High School, trying to put up a fight, and I must say, a lot of points as well. That's 3 points down for Annie in the mid lane, 2 points as well into the Tristana's pocket in the bot lane. So they were down 6-2 in kills, but 1.5k gold. Definitely something you can still come back from. And we're going to have to see if that comes into play, because Liberia, you have to think this next dragon, that's when Brighton wants to start grouping up and trying to fight, because you do not want to let Sachem get a soul point this early in the game.
Yeah, this is what we saw a lot of times here at the high school or collegiate level. You'll get an advantage, start snowballing in the early game. This is why I don't like seeing a lot of late game composition in this level of play, is because a lot of times you seed so much pressure in the early game, and then your opponent gets onto soul point, and you cannot recover, regardless of your scaling, from that deficit. So I really want to see Brighton pick it back up. Here comes the teleport, though.
I like this.
A little bit worrisome. Here comes Graceful Steal, but interrupted on the dive in, and now it's going to be a chase in from the Lucian. Lots of damage coming out. Ultimate from the Nunu gets taken down. Humphrey will trade for Rep 0 there. The Udyr has to run away. Teleport again coming out from Sachem. It looks like this will be the Pantheon coming in. Isek not able to find the kill onto Xerath. Now is a real struggle of a fight. Brighton
The sacrificial Tibbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tibbers going to try and slow that exit, as a lot of TPs and abilities used, but not a lot of kills go on over. The handshake, I must say, I think it's okay for Brighton, the fact they get out of there with 1-for-1. But no real impact on the game, and I'm still waiting for this next dragon to see if we have a fight that really breaks the game open, Liberia.
Yeah. I think until Dragon, not a whole lot's going to be going on, because there's like nothing on the map. Maybe a few kills left and right. And until then, we just kind of have to wait and see, let these players scale up. One of the things I've been mulling over for, these few matches is that a lot of these players are going to be going from, high school esports to collegiate esports. And,
yes.
You and I have the unique experience of both having been RAs. And look, I don't want to scare off any of the kids going into college. It's like not that kind of beware, but like every RA has like that one story that they love. My favorite was, I had one resident. There's a positive one and then a funny one. One resident was going for an interview, I think legitimately for a frat house. They had like an interview. It was for one of the collegiate ones. So it was like honor scholars or something. And they wanted me to make sure, he wanted me to make sure that his suit looked good and to help him prep for the interview. That was really cute.
That was Dad in Liberia.
Yeah, especially because I was younger than him by 2 years. Like, it was really cute. Because I was the youngest person on the floor despite being the RA. Yeah, it was interesting.
How'd that happen?
Did you guys have a duty phone?
No. So our campus, first 2 years, you had to be in the dorm. The only way you get out of that is if you went and joined Greek life. But you had to be a third year to be in a second year dorm. So they made sure you were older.
So we had this thing called a duty phone when we did our, like, you'd have nights with rounds, and then every other week that you'd be on, you'd have the duty phone. You had to have it on you at all times. You had to answer it at all times.
Yes.
4 a.m. I get a call on the duty phone from this girl who is just like out of it. She's like, hey, I don't have my key. I've been out all night. It's freezing cold. Can you come get me? And I feel like that's analogous to what's happening to Burly Burger right now. He's out in the cold. He got hit by a snowball. He's having a terrible time. And now they've lost the dragon. And they don't have an RA to let them into the building and watch them slowly, sleepily creep back upstairs.
So my best RA story, and this is a 100% true story. I was on duty one night and got a knock from one of the residents. I was on the first floor, and one of the residents knocked and said, "Hey, the dumpster outside is on fire. Someone pitched a..." Yeah, so I go outside, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's on fire. Should probably call 911." So we had a dumpster fire, and two of like my favorite residents, before like they came to put it out, yeah, they got a picture like with like the fire burning, and you like see like through the hole of the dumpster, like on the other side, they're like giving like the thumbs up, like a smile. So
almost like the meme template photo.
Yep, pretty much. As I think Camille doesn't want to get into the dumpster
Speaking of
fire.
dumpster fires,
Yeah.
whatever just happened there.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're gonna
God.
not give away kills, and we are going to make sure that that gold goes into the tower and not the other team.
Really good play. It was just weird
Smart
looking.
play. Yeah, it looked a bit like a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I'm interested in like seeing what collegiate esports looks like now for these kids when they get out of high school as well, because like there's a lot of scholarships, like even at high school level. Play Versus is providing a few, and then getting to the collegiate level, I know there's.
We played in their tournament as well. So I coach Miami University, Ohio. We're in the MAC, and the MAC conference is ran through Play Versus. And so we took third in this split, and hoping to get. We need a top 2 to make the top 32 and like play with all the rest of the colleges. Fortunately, Buffalo and Northeastern really good in our conference. We're gonna try and change that one around, but I know like fortunately collegiate esports gotten a lot tougher to compete, because for us at least, because a lot more schools are providing scholarships, whereas our school has one scholarship which was given to an Overwatch player who used to play for the Washington Justice. In Overwatch
I know, I
League.
looked. I looked recently, and it's over 200 universities are providing scholarships, whether full or otherwise.
Which is
It's like-
fantastic.
Yeah,
And
it's huge.
one of the best parts about it too for these guys is they are not under Title IX, because our program is not officially related with varsity athletics. We like got their blessing. They're like, yeah, you can like use the logo and everything. We're not regulated by Title IX, which means that prize money, like our team won prize money this semester. So the guys get some extra bucks to go to Chipotle, which always helps in college.
Nice.
And
The Chipotle fund.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's necessary.
Yeah, that should be the scholarship they give out now, with like Chipotle gift cards.
That was literally like our team, like we placed third in the tournament, and, like everyone got a chunk of money, and I was like still spectating the game.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Easter.
All right, see ya.
Just finds an assassination. Cool. Very chill. Graceful Steel, meanwhile, in the top lane, finds a 1v2 that is backed away from by the 2. Makes sense, I guess, seeing how many of Brighton are headed back up. Flash Bear Slap comes out, but not a whole lot of damage to follow up. That's the problem with going Sunfire. Now, that's going to be the Hex Deck Ultimatum from Graceful Steel. The Tower Dive comes out. Tons of damage onto the Pantheon. May be able to survive this, ironically, for the time being. And now, Burly Burger gets taken out for the effort. Xerath trying to put down as much cover fire as possible, but it won't be enough to take anyone else out. 1 for 1 under that tower. 1 for 0 ahead of time.
important fight for Brighton, getting some more gold in their pockets before they have to fight for this Mountain Soul coming on through. For those parents that are watching, Fourth Dragon, very powerful, as you can see up in that top left. That goes over to the blue side. Big shield, really tough to get through. So this next dragon going to be really important. Good that Brighton gets some gold in their pockets before that next one. Getting back to the previous point though, Chipotle money, important. Like that, I was like still like watching the game for like third place, and I didn't like, it was a very close game, and they got like back into my chat early because the spectator delay, and they're like, yeah, we won, like we got Chipotle money, let's go. And like oh, okay, nice for you guys.
Yeah, I think, you know, to any parents who are listening, to further on that point, you know, if your kid ends up going to college, one thing that I never realized I would need, like a box of tissues, just because like you'll find yourself with a cold or sneezing or crying in my case. Freshman year was rough, not gonna lie.
Big one.
And you'll be like, oh, thank God my mom packed me like 7 boxes of tissues, because being like snotty and crying in a public bathroom, not great. Because we did not have sweets. Oh, Meanwhile, this team fight's happening, apparently. Humphrey goes in.
Oh.
Beautiful ultimate, actually.
Wow.
I take back my churlishness. I apologize. Burly Burger, last one standing in the team fight. Graceful Steel not even making it over. Oh, there we go. Finally gets taken out. The full ace for Sachem will come out, and that means Mountain Soul on the table.
Queen Ace, Mountain Soul, with all members taken off the map. Should be a Baron as well in Iberia as Sachem. We've been talking over this game and telling stories because it sure has looked over, and they are continuing to write that narrative for themselves. Mountain Soul going on over. Now the Baron, that big buff is going to help him wrap up the rest of this game with the Siege. And hey, for game one, I'd say a statement game coming out here from Sachem. Feels like they've been in control the entire time.
Yeah, and it's really impressive how well they've been able to keep their lead. And despite the deficit in the top lane, they have been able to keep up with this and do so much with their lead elsewhere. And they've just said, you know, Vinquin, chill, vibe, survive for as long as you can, and we will handle it from there. And that's what's been happening, because Graceful Steel is no longer finding these 1v1s with the Pantheon. In fact, Vinquin even has a level advantage over that Camille. And that has only happened because of the careful play, because of the good team play. And this is something that you really love to, but rarely do, see at this level. You know, the ability to sacrifice your own lane in order to get gains in another lane or elsewhere on the map is something that, hell, I remember even Season 3, Season 4, Dyrus was pretty bad at dealing with emotionally. Like, actually play-wise, he did great, but emotionally, he just... There was one interview where he just like was nearly sobbing or fuming with rage. One of the two.
It's like, I don't get to play the game.
Want to play the game.
Yeah. Speaking of not being able to play the game, Udi are going to be taken down there by 4. The Siege continues. Graceful Steel is trying to do something on the bottom side of the map, but seems to be of no avail as this game has been all Sachem trying to push this one through. Oh my goodness. That damage on Tristana from Xerath. Holy
There's the
cow.
Ludens, baby.
We talked about the Xerath cheese, man. He hasn't gone down yet. Very difficult to accomplish on Xerath's support. So props to Echo Right. He's playing this one real well, and you can see all the damage coming through. Only source of magic damage on his team that's significant. It's really hurting.
It's working, man. Nobody's building any defenses against it, and he's doing so much damage. And I think this exacerbates the Udyr problem I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Like this... To do it's not quite there yet, but I think it's time to do a post-mortem on this Udyr build. I don't think it worked. Reason being, without Frostfire, you don't even have the chase down potential. Like, you have damage if you can stay in the fight, but why would anyone on this team stay in a fight with you if they have a choice not to? They can just kite you and blow you up from range. I'm
with you. I think that Iceborne or Turbo Chem Tank might have been better calls, too, if you want to go for this tank build. Because you at least have like some more tools, you know, get you involved, speed you up, or slow other people down. It feels like he's getting kited out pretty severely by this Lucian Zyra Xerath, which is very good at kiting and playing, like, you know, playing back in his defense. But Iberia, I think the story is still the same. We have 6k gold lead. We have an inhibitor now knocked down, and it seems like nothing's slowing down Sachem as they get through this one. And as we talk about RA stories, I don't know about you, Iberia, but a lot, like, we had what we called living learning communities. So people could...
Yeah, we had this too. I was next door to the doctor one, the pre-med one.
Oh, okay, so yours was based off majors? Okay, so
and
ours
one
was
of them
based
was
off...
ROTC as well.
Yes. So
both on the same floor, which was wild. They were next to each other.
Doctors and well, I mean, I guess if anything happens, like the ROCT guys,
like, and
they got
honestly,
doctors right there.
That's brilliant work by the planning committee, really. Knowing some of the ROTC kids, that was great job.
Yeah, they were always getting hurt, like pushing themselves.
Yeah, they were always roughhousing. I'm like, dude.
Yep. So ours weren't based off majors; they were based off of interests, and cool. Yeah, it was really cool because sick outplay coming in there from the Camille, as Udyr is still gonna keep on getting victimized. As we talk about the rest of this game, but when it comes to the LSC, so I had the Great Outdoors, which was just people that like to camp. And we actually got funding from the school for the guys to go camping, and they had to bring me along because I managed a credit card. So we got to go to Red River Gorge, like camping, like when the colors were changing, which was beautiful. And if anyone is in the Midwest and has been to Red River Gorge, it is gorgeous down there at that time of year. So that was one of my cooler RA experiences as well. doing some
Just
of that.
waiting for the esports LLC to come out.
We had that once we
Hell yeah.
Once we co-founded the varsity program, we had that, and they got put in the dorm right next to the library, so they had the closest walk to our arena because our arena was in the library.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Not nice so far. Graceful Steel going in for the engage. Huge ultimate about to come out from Humphrey. Tons of damage onto everyone who will fall for it, but there's so much damage left over as Burrito looks into the backside of the fight. The Zaya gets taken down. Meanwhile, that's a beautiful hold, though, from Brighton. Couldn't tell you how it happened, if I'm being honest, but there's the engage right back in from the Pantheon. A ton of damage remaining. He got out of the fight, then got back in. The Tristana falls to the Arcane Comment of the Xerath. This Mountain Soul may be enough to keep the Xerath alive. Just needs the stun. Full combo should take it down. No! One more auto. Run, Xerath, run!
Oh!
No! Graceful Steel dodges away with a hook shot wall dive and will make it to live another day.
Man, he could have, like, thrown a rock at him or just, like, you know,
literally
bumped him into
anything.
the trees. Anything. But Graceful Steel gets out with grace. That was a great fight coming out. I like the turnaround. I think Annie flashing in and bought so much time with her Zonias as well, just to stall and make sure that some damage could get down. Good hold. That said, Elder Drake going over to the blue side team. If we thought Baron was a game-ending buff, Iberia, Elder Drake, that is the game-ending buff.
Oh yeah, that'll be it.
This is game.
Especially because of how so many of these fights are going for the side of Brighton when they do win. There's so few health bars left. And now you have a level 14 Nunu, and you're trying to outsmite a level 14 Nunu with a level 13 Udyr. That's just not happening, my friend. I'm sorry. Graceful Steel goes in, Hextech Ultimatum, 3,000 health remaining on that Elder Drake. Who's going to be able to find it? Will be blue team. Smite is missed, but still secured by Humphrey. And now the huge damage from the Elder Drake is enough to just chase down the rest of the team between Lucian and Nunu. And that should be all she wrote. As Xerath has to run away from the Tibbers. Barely surviving. That will be the game going over to Sachem. A beautiful, beautiful one as well.
I thought Tibbers was going to make a statement for Bears everywhere. Unfortunately for me, Bears stance Udyr and Tibbers didn't have the best of games on this side. Not looking too good for Bears. That said, Sachem looking real good, as you mentioned, taking down the rest of the Nexus, taking game one of this best of three, one step towards winning that state championship.
Just one more game to go, or if we're lucky, Brighton could pull it back and bring it all the way to a 3-game series. So that was a... I don't think they're going to pick Udyr again, if I'm being honest.
I think we might have to go to Burlyburger's next favorite bear champion, which is Voldabear. So I would love to see
As long as we stick with the bear, as long as we stick within a theme. Next up, Gragas, if we're just trying to stick within that theme. So we'll see what that adaptation is. But I think going into the next match, what more do you want to see from them other than finding something other than that Udyr, which really did not work out?
I think Graceful Steel showed up pretty nice on the Camille. And so maybe if you get a carry in the hands of the top laner for Brighton and play around that, get some gold on that, might be their way to win. It seemed like a bright spot in what was a pretty dominant defeat coming on through. Also, I think you got to think about the Nunu pick.
I think
Snowballs,
I
man.
think
They're
the
festive
Nunu
right
was
now.
Surprisingly dominant. I have rarely seen a Nunu just pop off like that,
Yeah.
but really it was the full kit on display. It wasn't just better pathing or anything. It was use of the Nunu kit itself. It was the snowballs. It was the consume objective steals. It was the beautiful absolute zeros. Like every single fight, it was a 4 or 5 man absolute zero, and you just cannot allow that to happen. So I don't know. Maybe that one's going to be gone.
I'm just thinking of like the Zoolander clip where it's like, that is so hot right now with like all like the new snowballs, except it makes everything cold. So I guess that like kind of wrecks it.
We'll workshop it. We'll
think about it. Yeah, we got some time.
We'll figure it out between the break. And when we get back, we'll see game 2 between Sachem and Brighton. We'll see if Sachem takes the clean 2-0 or if Brighton fights back and brings us to a game 3. Don't go anywhere. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Glad to see you're still here. We are getting ready for game number 2 of Brighton High School versus Sachem High School. So, coming into this next game, Sachem, how to put this? Sachem's top lane looked very doomed, but the rest of their map suddenly recovered it, and a lot of that was, I think, off of their weird Xerath Xayah bot lane, which I'm apparently having so much trouble to say, just
It's
because, like, well, it's 2 X's that are pronounced as, like, Z's, and you never see either champion a whole lot right now. It's weird.
Be a nice tongue twister to, like, warm up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xerath Xayah bot.
I'm
See,
not even
there
going to
you
try. You're doing a lot better than me.
Perfect. We're getting there. But going into game 2, I think really we talked about before the break that Nunu has to go. Not because it was bad, but because it was good. On the flip side of that coin, the Udyr has to go for the exact opposite reason. It did not work out with the composition, and I think if you were going to play Udyr in competitive play, you need to either play the very heavy split push / duelist AP build, where you can just run down a lane and then run right back out, or you need to play a more utilitarian build. And I think the build that we saw that game was a little bit of neither. And as a result, it ended up floundering. So I would like to see that pick change. Other than that, before we get into it, like, what are your big takeaways from that last game?
I thought that Nunu was outstanding in that game, and I really want to see Nunu either in the hands possibly of Burly Burger. It feels like a champion that he might like, just given the fact that he likes big tanks. Nunu could fill that role. But I thought Humphrey was really impressive on Nunu and really did a good job of snowballing his mid lane forward. So if you take that one out of the equation as well, just kind of mix up the jungle matchup, maybe give Burly Burger something he can work with. Maybe we see a little bit of flip-flop coming on in, because we do expect this to be a somewhat close series, somewhat close matchup in Iberia.
Yeah, especially in that top lane. I want to see more from Graceful Steel as well, because that Camille was good. So
it was, and has potential to carry if given some tools. So let's see a little bit of help put up to Graceful Steel and see what they can do with a lot of resources at their disposal.
Yep, and game is ready. I'm getting word from producer Pine, so we're going to head straight on in and check that one out. Let's see what game 2 has to offer. Hey, it's the other bear.
We have a full bear. Yay! All right. So this bear, a little bit more mobility. That's kind of nice. And also, still sticking with a very tanky front line, given the Shen and the Volta bear. And I also like the fact in Iberia, we talked about giving resources to Graceful Steel. Shen isn't someone that you're necessarily going to solo carry a game with, but it does have a good matchup against Ornn and can really impact the map.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is going to be a boon for them this time around, especially because Graceful Steel, as we've seen, is like one of their strongest members.
Yes.
I think when you give someone like that a champion who's literally designed around impacting the map, Shen's ultimate is just an impact the map button. On top of that teleport, this may be enough to turn the tides for Brighton. We'll see. But that's very interesting. I want to point out that Brighton are running the very same bot lane as last game, despite it not going fantastically.
Yeah, and also running on the same side. So maybe they very much prefer red side and want that counter pick, as these guys do swap off choice aside. Obviously, Sachem going to be the ones that have that ultimate choice, given the fact they are the first seed in the regular season, going 14-2, feeling really good. And hey, fun fact with these guys, a team of 4 juniors as well. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it spells pretty well for what that team might look like next year.
Just stick it on your college application. Oh, no. You can't. If they win, they can't put it on their college apps because those go out early junior year, don't they?
That is
so
somewhat the earliest one. I don't know exactly what the timing is. Obviously, COVID world might make things a little bit weird too. But hey, it'd be great for them to throw on, and if they're looking at possibly scholarships to play this in college as well, I think that recruitment would look very highly upon a high school state championship.
Yeah,
coming from a college coach.
Yeah, I think this is really cool for these kids. I mean, I had some gaming stuff I could have put on my resume, but didn't. Like, I designed. I used to be really into MMOs, and I like designed private servers and coded them myself and did all that kind of thing. But I never felt comfortable putting that on my application, and I really should have, because these kind of things, especially nowadays, recruiters will look at. They will look positively upon because esports now has such more mainstream acceptance. It's no longer, oh wow, that guy plays video games, good for him. It's like, oh, he knows how to play within a team. It's a team sport, and it is starting to get the same level of respect that traditional sports are getting, and that is really what I have been looking for the past several years. Just waiting for that moment.
And fantastic to see it start at high school. I know that team sports, something that are very impactful growing up. Not only was I lucky enough to compete in golf as a team sport, but I was also, did more and was even a camp counselor at a sports camp where we had everyone play team sports for an entire week with made-up games. So it's really valuable for teamwork and fun to see these high schoolers have that opportunity to not only play this game and potentially get some prizing for it, but also, have the potential to grow through a team sport and something that they obviously enjoy. Gonna be pretty good to make it to the state championship.
Yeah, meanwhile, looking at mid, this is going to be a little bit of a disaster. Teleport comes in from Graceful Steel just in case Swain is in trouble. Isek having an okay time on this Swain. Now, I don't know about you, but I certainly have not seen Swain mid in a few seasons, even in solo queue. Mostly see Swain AD carry these days, or like maybe Swain support. What's up with that, Cubby?
I'm gonna go with player comfort and preference coming on through. As Swain is a champion, it's really good into team comps that have to come into you, because obviously, at ultimate, you want to stay in range if a team has to dive you in order to win. Swain very much appreciates that. Kaisa is a champion that has to go in, but no one else on that roster can. So I think it's more preference, and looking at that Ignite, I think Essex is looking for a lot of early pressure, and hey, maybe he wants to, try and get around the map and help out his teammates, because Swain brings a lot of CC to the table and a lot of help when he decides to get out of lane and make some ganks happen.
I'm really looking forward to the late game of Swain, because I think Demon Flare is one of the coolest visual abilities in the game. Oh, Binding lands finally on the Clank. The flash away, the heal. Will it be enough? One more tick. The flash in auto. Come on, Volibear, chase him down. There's the stun. The follow-up onto Kaisa. Red buff is ticking. That's a lot of slows. Tristana jumps in. Tons of damage going out. Kaisa doesn't have that invis just yet. The kill here means the reset on the rocket jump. Rep Zero doesn't go for it. A 2-for-1 trade in the end in favor of Brighton.
Furious, something you pointed out early in this game is let's get a better game, a better setup here for Burly Burger. That's a great start for the Volibears. He's involved in 2 kills in the right place at the right time, as Sachem overextending a little bit. It's something we didn't see out of them in the last game, lacking a little bit of discipline on that play, going to drop a couple kills, and a good start for the side of Brighton.
Yeah, it's interesting because now that I think about it, Volibear is literally just the better version of the Udyr Burly Burger played last game.
Oh man, don't do Udyr like that. He feels bad. He's feeling bad.
I think Udyr himself has a lot of value that Volibear can't provide, like as an AP split pusher. Volibear really can't do that. I've tried. Yes. Oh god, my entire microphone just fell over. So I'll just hold it like some kind of caveman. But I think the difference here is the way that Udyr was being played in game number 1 was really, you go in, you find a stun, and you try and tank it out. And Udyr is just not really built for that. Volibear is. And that's what I'm excited to see.
Oh, speaking of, Ignite's dropped. He's dead.
Woo! Flash auto coming out. Rep Zero in a lot of trouble. Has the flash available as well as the rocket jump. Now that fight's over, Cubby, I'm going to fix my microphone.
Oh, I'll take it away here. I think one of the big things that we saw in the last game that helped Sachem win is the fact that Humphrey on that Nunu had such a big impact in the mid lane and making sure that Bro Rito got ahead. Whereas now we see Essex with that Ignite on the Swain. He picked up a kill. That mid lane is going their way. So effectively, Brighton, they've gotten 2 lanes to go their way. And that top side, Shen can still win that matchup up there. So much better start for Brighton as they have an early lead, not only in gold, but also that dragon. And he's trying to stay alive in the state championship and take it to a game 3.
Trundle, more like Rundle. So that's my only contribution after that time. I have my microphone fixed. Yeah.
Trundle, I mean, you can press R and suck stats out of people, which...
Yeah, that'll be kind of useful. Shen doesn't really rely on defensive stats all that much. Like
that's true. Volibear...
Mostly the W.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volibear, I guess.
Yeah.
my microphone fell into the trash can. It's
Oh,
really
nice.
unfortunate. But it's fine now. Everything's fine. It was an empty trash can because I had just swapped it out before show. So, go me, I guess.
Well, we don't want any dumpster fires on the show. That's just for story
No,
time.
just
that's
for
just
story time. I think my favorite time from being in RA was when we were doing rounds because we did them in pairs on the weekends. We had 7 p.m., 10 p.m., and then midnight. The midnight rounds were together.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the second building. We like heard a little bit of noise, and we both looked at each other, and we were just like, I can't, man. I wanted to go home and play League of Legends. He wanted to go home and play Smite, which is also supported by Play versus Tournaments. And we were just both looked at each other, and we were like, you just want to go? I was like, yep, let's just roll. I don't want to deal with this because that's 2 more reports to file. That's 3 more hours of work on our end, and I just really wanted to play ARAM.
My favorite was, so we had a very large population of students that came over from China, and they would play League in the common areas, and they like didn't know that, you know, I was like founded the program and like coached and like our team that year took like second in the national championship. So I'd always like swing by and just like check in, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I like that game. They're like, cool. They'd be like playing, and I'd like try and like throw them like some tips, and they would never take him. They'd just be like, nope, we're just gonna play Leona Annie. That was their duo, and that's like all they played.
Oh man,
yeah.
I remember when I used to do it with a guy named Blandfish. Shout outs to him if he's still
Great
out
name.
there. It is. It really
I like
is.
Fish though.
And this was in season like 3. He was convinced that Pantheon support was the jam. Back then it was not, but I'm so happy for him if he's still out there. Pantheon support is now meta. So, you know,
Honestly, back then it probably wouldn't have been that bad.
It wasn't terrible. His
Yeah.
warding kind of was. Sorry to throw him under the bus. He always likes to throw the ward outside of the bushes,
Oh.
like on the corner near the river. It was like, I can see him coming sooner. I'm like, but it's not hidden.
And brushes were bigger
What?
back then too.
Yeah.
before they redid the
What
map.
if someone's just in the bush, Bland? What do we do then?
Remember
We didn't have
old
an answer.
banana brush, and you had to
Oh my
like
God, yeah.
exactly drop the ward, like
The
in the
Scar
exact spot
ward?
to see both sides.
The Scar Award as well was fun,
Yeah.
which is dead now, which is sad. Well, it's not as reliable. I think you can still do it.
You can still do it, but it's not reliable. They have a reliable one though now on bot and top, if you are laning, where you can like click it on the tree and drop it in the lane brush, which is
Oh, that's cool.
honestly challenging to do. And I may or may not have played this game at a GM level at one point as support and cannot do that word. So I don't know what
It's
this
one of
is
those
about
things-
support players, but here I am.
It's one of those things you have to pop in a practice tool for hours to do. I hate those things. Like Shaco has a mechanic like that, where you can actually force yourself into the pit just by ulting. You don't have to use your Q because it has a slight disjoint, and it moves you like half a pixel. But that half a pixel is enough to get over that one thinnest part of the dragon pit. I sat in practice tool for 2 hours practicing it. I nailed it. I had to do it in a game and absolutely butchered it. Absolutely just face on the keyboard. Didn't make it over. Lost the dragon. I was like, this is pointless. This is a dumb mechanic. I hate this. This is dumb.
The worst drill I've ever heard of, and I tried to repeat this for League, but I couldn't. It was this college golfer, and the coach would put 5 dots on a ball. It's like one was like in the middle, one was like up, down, left, right, right? So 5 points. And he would take a swing, and on your downswing, he would call out the color of the point, and you'd have to hit it like that way. Because like that's like
That's
it helps
crazy.
you like work the ball. And the only player that like could ever do it perfectly was Jordan Spieth. And if you know golf, he was the #1 player in the world for a little bit of a time and won the Masters. So that's when he knew Jordan Spieth was going to be pretty good. But I can only imagine like trying to like reenact that drill with like Lee Sin combos or something in practice
Yeah.
tool. I have tried it. It did not
Kick
work out
them at
the same.
exactly a 45-degree angle. It's like,
Yeah, I've like tried to like somehow find ways to like recreate this. I could not.
Yeah, it's just a little too challenging. Meanwhile, in the top lane, that's one heck of a dive. Burtley Burger going to be able to find the kill there. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, we saw a successful gank there. Isak is starting to pull ahead in this lane, which is good because I don't think Swain scales as well as Orianna, even post rework with new items.
It's pretty strong with the Andres. I'm more focused on I don't know what to say because like we have Burly Burger and Volibear like just kind of dunked him. It's like I don't know if you like dunked him with a Big Mac or if you just like jumped on. Like I'm trying to like find a way to like maybe a Whopper. I feel like a Whopper fits a little bit more there because like,
Supersize me.
Yeah, that's what happens with Volibear ults, dude. He gets supersized.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the plan. He's the documentary. Was that a tower going down? I saw some sort of notification.
Oh, not yet. Plates are starting to fall here pretty
Oh,
soon.
that's it.
Oh, the Rift Herald's
Oh,
going
it's
down.
the Rift Herald. There we
Yeah,
go. That's what it was. They dropped the Herald.
Wait. Okay. It's going to land.
Yeah, good timing there. Should be able to get another plate there off the next auto. We'll do
And we missed
so.
a solo kill in the mid lane. Swain falls down to Burrito, who is, I guess, giving him the Crunch Wrap Supreme in the mid lane while we're going off those.
Man, I missed when I didn't realize how bad Taco Bell was. You know what I mean?
It's not
It's
the
like-
worst fast food in the world in terms of health.
No. It's like fine. But
Yeah.
I miss when I thought it was Mexican food, you know? Like I live in that kind of white area.
So have you like upgraded to Chipotle, or do you have like really good Mexican?
No,
food?
we have like an actual Mexican
Okay.
restaurant near me that is like really fantastic. There's a few of them actually.
So good.
But the problem was like once I realized how bad Taco Bell was in terms of like Mexican food, I was like, it lost its allure a little bit. Like it's still good food, and it's not trying to be Mexican. It's trying to be this weird, distinctly American version of the taco. And I think that is culinarily cool. But also, if I'm going fast food, I'm going like Five Guys. That's the closest to fast food again.
Okay. That's a pretty quality burger for fast food too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good for you,
Capriati's,
but
If you're anywhere near my area, I think it's in literally the 2 states I'm closest to. Capriati's is the bomb. Those are like pseudo fast food.
I guess while we're covering tacos and college stories, we got to do a pitch for Target for one of my classes, and our job for Target was everyone got a different target demographic, and we got the Hispanic demographic, and we pretty much got to tell the executives that like the people that we talked to in the store felt like their Hispanic section felt like a taco aisle. And Hispanic families are much more likely to make home-cooked meals and use really good ingredients. And we got to see the exec like leave after our pitch and call headquarters because he thought we had a good idea, which is cool. I don't know if they've changed anything because, go Kroger. But yeah.
That's really cool. I never got to do anything like super cool with my degree because I did cognitive science plus Chinese with a minor in Asian studies.
Well, Chinese
So-
ended up coming in pretty
Yeah,
handy.
I ended up
Yeah.
going to China and casting there and speaking Chinese. So
Yeah, I'd
Something.
say that panned out pretty well for you.
speaking of panning out pretty well, this gank
Goodbye.
for Sachem is fantastic because they lost nothing and were able to just absolutely massacre Brighton. And now that's going to lose
Nigeria.
them the dragon.
We have a game on our hands.
We do.
Yeah, this dragon going on over and Sachem kind of coming back into this one. That mountain dragon, a lot of resistances are going to help out with Trundle and with Ornn. Not to mention the fact that we're pretty happy about the scaling that we see on this blue side team. So that 1K goal difference, that 1 dragon difference, it feels like a pretty close game. A little bit close on what you see on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think this is one of the closest games you'll see at this level. I think
Yeah.
the signifier that I use is, does someone get soul point on third Drake? That is literally how I judge the quality of games while I'm casting them.
Making things simple.
Well, I mean, so many times you'll see
I like it.
teams be like, okay, we can give up the first one, we can give up the second one, and then they'll like forget to contest the third one, or they'll try and fail massively. And 9 times out of 10, that signifies that it will be sole 4th dragon. The game will end by the 27-minute mark.
That's very true.
Now that has not happened, I suspect either this game either goes long or ends without a soul, which is interesting.
What I like about this game from a coaching perspective is that a lot of the times when we do see close games at this level, because we get a lot of kills in a lot of fights, whereas this has been played out pretty clean. We have another fight breaking out. And Orn TP, that might turn things.
Here comes the Stand United onto the Tristana as well. That is a huge Volibear. What is going on there?
He got supersized.
He sure did. Vinkman gets taken down. Couldn't handle the calories. Too much for him. He's gonna go into a food coma. Don't worry. He didn't get killed. He just went into a food coma.
Just the food coma. It's the post-Thanksgiving special where you gotta take a nap. You're back. As not Shelly, but Kelly gotta take down that turret. Go chasing down another. See if it gets another charge on off. I think Trundle's gonna. Oh, he missed it. He gets a charge off.
Very good there. That's a ton of pressure down in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Isek trying to take this one out. Graceful Steel will follow it up, and that should be enough to secure the turret.
Big play coming on in, right? The tower winning the fight for Brighton. They're now up 3k gold, and credit where credit's due. Graceful Steel, that Stand United came in at the perfect time, and Volibear
should be able to find this one. There's no way Morgana gets out. Shouldn't have anything.
Okay, smite.
I was about to have to eat my words.
I was real scared, man. Just smite him down.
That's right. Trundle. Ooh, fancy feat.
That was fancy.
Really good use of phased rush as well, triggering that. So we're not going to have a Drake for a little bit. Problem now is you don't have an objective to contest. If you're Brighton, you really want to get back into this game. You have a lead. You want to do something with it, but there's no objectives on the map. And that's where I really worry about them.
I fully agree with you, just because the Shen lane should still keep on winning against the Ornn, especially given the lead that he has, not to mention just the champion matchup. And Ornn doesn't... He has access to that TP, but still, obviously, when the fights break out, a little bit more powerful way to get involved. That massive shield coming on in is something we saw pay off in the fight in the bot lane, and could pay off as this game goes on. Said in Iberia, we do have a Baron coming to the table, and with Kraken Slayer 80 carries and Andres on Swain, might be an option for either team to at least look at and try and sniff out.
Yeah, this is going to be the next time that they're going to fight. We haven't actually seen a proper Baron fight in a while. So I'm interested in seeing where they take it from here.
It's not popular, man. Dragon's just so hot right now.
I know. Dragon gets all the media attention, but shout out to our boy in purple.
He'll be back soon. We'll just have Riot changes up the numbers. I don't think we're going to see a Baron fight. I think these guys are going to wait until the Dragon to kind of brawl it out. And hey, right now, props to Brighton. We haven't talked a lot about vision setup. I'm gonna give Brighton a little bit of credit here. They got a nice vision setup. That control ward on the bottom side, they're keeping mid priority, utilizing that side lane push to get control of the map, and that's why we see them maintaining this gold lead.
Yeah, I'm distracted, Cubby. I'm distracted by the 80 carry itemization.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on new Gale Force? Because they buffed it pretty significantly. And I keep feeling like it's like so good now.
I really like Gale Force on Tristana. And this is something
what I was thinking.
Yeah, Bethany Esports, one of the collegiate teams that are very good. That we've both had the pleasure of casting with Nerd Street over for a collegiate invite. They love running it with their 80 carry Wizardish, and it extends the range of the rocket jumps. You can get slows down. Not to mention, it's kind of like a focused execute when you pop that ability. As Oriana,
here comes the bear. Burly Burger comes in. Will be taken down finally, but a huge taunt comes into the backline from Graceful Steel. Stays alive for the time being with the wild growth from Lulu. And look at Rep Zero just pounding out the damage in the backline. There's one. Where's the jump? There it goes. Onto the Kaisa.
Here we go.
Can we make the three-peat? Trundle runs away. There's the Quadra. And Rep Zero safely secures the Drake for their team and will find their way to that inhib turret.
That's what we like to call the Goomba Stomps coming on through here in League of Legends as Rep Zero picks up a Quadra kill. We were teasing a dragon fight. That's exactly what ends up breaking out. I have to give credit to the Ornn. I feel like that Ornn Horn bought a lot of time, but the movement coming on in from Brighton just too much to deal with as Tristana. Once you get that kill, you get those resets coming on through. You get to jump throughout the fight. We saw how valuable that can be when you have some low health targets on the other side.
Not even able to take down the inhib. That's a little heartbreaking there. But Rep Zero did find the Quadra and the Soul Point for their team. So Brighton's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering what this item is going to be. I wonder if it's going to be the Storm Razor. I've been seeing a lot of...
The Storm Razor last game.
Yep. Kraken Slayer into Storm Razor into Infinity Edge is the build that I've been seeing a lot from Tristana. Because you just have that really strong 3-hit combo. And then if you're lucky, you can chase it up with 2 more autos and finish off that explosive charge.
The slow is very good on a champion like Tristana. You can obviously stay in range for Rocket Jump. Getting back, though, to your point about Gale Force, Niberia.
Yeah.
As a marksman player yourself, I really hope you've played some Gale Force Jhin on this patch, a champion that is very strong, that we haven't seen yet. It's very skill shot reliant, a little bit more high skill cap. Kind of difficult to play. We see him a lot in pro play, but Gale Force on Jhin feels fantastic right now. I don't know if you played that.
I have had a moral opposition to Jhin ever since the item rework, because I played with TJ, friend of the show and duo partner of mine. We did Jhin Seraphine bot. Oh my god. It is so broken. It is so unbelievably broken. And we just won every single game except for we won 6 out of 8 of our first games. It was his first time on Seraphine, my first time on Jhin for 4 months. We won 6 out of 8 games, and in the 2 games we lost, I was 17-7 and 16-4.
Oh, jeez.
It
was too easy.
Yeah, like legitimately, I didn't feel like I was learning anything from playing it.
I don't like played it. Just too easy.
Just too easy. Free. And then here comes the engage from the Volibear. Not going to be able to find it. Horn comes out, lands onto 2. There's the Volibear stomp. Able to find the Morgana with the Demon Flare. Swain charging through the fight. No flash available. No flash needed. Tristana.
Jump. Go for it.
She's going for it. Let's go. Shockwave comes out, punishing for that over-aggressive jump, but not punishing enough to take her down. And now this Tristana going to be able to pound away at these towers pretty quick.
We love to see it roll the dice, and I think gold lead and the map position lead. Okay, Burly Burger. Much better game for him this game. Volibear greater than Udyr. You got to fully commit to the bear. I think that's what we learned.
Exactly.
Can't just be 4th bear. Got to fully commit to it.
And I think now Graceful Steel going to be able to pick up this inhib. No. We'll be challenged here, so we'll find a way out. But that's 3 people contesting that bot lane inhib, so that means top and mid are completely uncontested. I think this might be a triple inhib.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see how fast Tristana takes turrets with that attack speed steroid she has, and that E, that bomb she can place as well, does extra damage to structures, really paying off there as Rep Zero, the other standout performer. I mean, I think it's been a really nice team effort coming in from Brighton, but just I think versus last game, Burly Burger has been so much more visible on this map. He's actually making plays. And I think that has really been the difference on top of all the gold going over to the 80 carry, right? You couldn't put gold on a better member of the squad if you're Brighton.
I think as well, the interesting thing this game is the change in Graceful Steel's role.
Yeah.
Because in game number 1, it was definitely, hey, Steel, if you can find a flank and get a kill here, that'd be cool. Otherwise, just vibe. Don't worry about it. But this game, Steel's taken a much more supportive methodology. And I think it's paying dividends for the team because you can see anytime any one of them oversteps even slightly, Steel is there to back them up with the Stand United and is playing beautifully on the back of it. So I think this is just a fantastic play for Brighton. And I want to see the supportive tops banned out. I want to see Volibear banned out next game if Brighton's able to clinch this.
I think it's been a big difference maker. And I mean, because their jungler has been so much more active, Brighton looks like a completely different squad in this game. And versus game 1, I mean, game 1 was pretty one-sided for Sachem. It feels like Brighton has turned that right on its head here for this second game as they have managed to come out on top and make this a series. Going to a potential game 3 is what it's looking like. And with this Mountain Soul Niberia spawning, it doesn't look like Sachem's in the position to even contest it. It'll be very difficult to overcome that extra shield and resistances going on over to Brighton.
No, there's no way they contest it for this point. Just look how tanky.
Look at Tristana.
Oh, look at Tristana over the wall player. But just like look how tanky the Shen and Volibear are on the side of Brighton. Like these are already difficult to kill. Sure, the Shen is going for a more bruisery style, but Volibear has gone full tank. Is still assassinating AD carries. And I think that's where the Mountain Soul is scariest, honestly. It's not the safety for the AD carry, it's that the tank is somehow even tankier.
Yeah, that bear, he tonky, man. He's feeling
thick.
Yeah, he's feeling real good. Wyoming, they run an award every year where they give away like a prize, and most importantly for me, social media recognition to the fattest bear they have in their state.
That's Burly Burger.
He's getting there. I mean, now that he has Mountain Soul, I think he's fully there. He just needs to ult. You know,
You're in the wrong state, Burly Burger.
Yeah,
you are the best bear. Go to Wyoming. Oh my God, I'm just looking at the items again. Aegis, Dead Man's Plate, Force of Nature. Like this is.
I'm so happy they brought Force of Nature back.
Yeah, those I missed it.
First, it was TFT, a game that you are very talented at casting at, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But also now back on the Rift. There's a reason that we talk about these games, Iberia.
Yeah. Well, I used to be so much better at TFT. You know, I was very much keeping up on the meta. I had a Smurf that was Diamond. No, it was Plat 1.
Okay.
And I was still climbing, and then it was set 3.5, and I just got tired of it. I was just like, nah.
I'm with you. My favorite set is still set 1. Just throwing that one out there. Not the other set's been bad. I've enjoyed this last one too, but
I think the other ones were like.
two.
I think the other ones were like objectively better designed.
Yeah.
I just think set 1 had some magic.
Yeah, I love shapeshifters, man. It was so fun. And I had this like crazy shapeshifter comp that I was running before everyone else, and I would either take 1st or 8th because I just went late, like fast 8. Speaking of fast
8, yeah.
Goodbye, Oriana.
That Oriana's gone. Open forwarded.
I'm glad that we were on the same page there. But yeah, so I loved that comp. It was very fun, and I haven't had Diamond the last 2 sets. First 2 though, I had it.
Yep. Now pushing in towards the Nexus. Morgana quickly evaporated by that Tristana in the back line. And I think this is all she wrote for game number 2, as Brighton is going to be able to clean this one up pretty easily. Oh no, come on. Don't be cheeky,
KDAs.
just end the game. Come on now. Rep 0 able to find the knockback to safety. So that'll be enough to do it, but it was close.
Brighton Tristana's giving the thumbs up, like, yeah, Niberia, we're going to end the game now.
Yeah.
As Niberia, we have game 3.
We got a game 3. We got a game
Everything's
3.
on the line. New York is delivering the excitement.
And I think game number 3, the adjustments I want to see, that Volibear has to be out of there. That has to be gone.
Yeah. Burly Burger, man, he had a standout game. And for someone who we thought was kind of invisible in the first game, the exact opposite of that in game 2.
Yeah, he was, I think, the primary carry, though. Like, realistically, I know Zero eventually scaled up and became the damage dealer, but the primary carry for the early game, the instigator of all of the success of the team, really felt like it was Burly Burger. So it was like such a huge increase in performance from them.
Yeah, he got Tristana ahead. He turned that gank in the bot lane in the early game, and that's kind of, I mean, that started the snowball, but he was also able to impact other lanes. Really impressed with his play, especially considering game 1, he really struggled. So really happy to see him show up in this game 2, and he's going to want that same performance here for game 3 in Iberia if they want to take the cake and get the reverse sweep to take the state championship.
That's right. It's 1-1. New York will return, and we will crown a state champion in the very next game. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. And we're back with the final game of the series. This is New York deciding their state champion for the Play versus Fall 2020 High School League. This is really exciting. We have two fantastic teams on display. So far, we have seen really good play from Sachem, as well as last game, Brighton, really bringing it back. My name is still Matt Nabiera Clendaniel. I am still joined by Matthew Cubby Samuelson. A tale of two Matts continues as we get into the final game of this New York championship.
Game 1, Sachem won in 30 minutes. Game 2, Brighton won in 30 minutes. Both looked pretty convincing to us. Gonna have to see if Game 3 has something different, and we kind of teased it. We thought this might be a close series, and both these teams have delivered. So props to Brighton for fighting back and see if they can wrap it up, or if Sachem has other plans in store. I'm excited for this Game 3 in Iberia. It should be good.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what'll come out of the jungle, because I think the biggest difference between Game 1 and Game 2 was the jungle top duo for Brighton. Because previously it had been the jungler doing whatever that Udyr was doing. Burley Burger did not have a great Game 1, but really turned it around Game 2, which tells me that it's not a player problem, it's a champion problem. Now that Udyr's off the table, theoretically. Please, fingers crossed. I'm interested to see what comes out Game 3, because I don't know about you, but I think that Volibear's taking a ban.
I love how you were so excited about Udyr Game 1, and that is just like completely just...
It just like so quickly. It's so like there's two legitimate viable builds in competitive play, and even those are like fringe.
The stonk went down fast.
It really did. It was one hell of a crash. It was 2008 all over again. But I think coming into Game 3 that Volibear takes a ban.
I don't want to see Nunu either for Sachem. I think that was really essential. You talked about the top jungle duo in Game 2. I thought mid jungle duo for Sachem Game 1 was the key to them. That Nunu really helped Lucian get through the Annie lane, got him ahead. Game 2, we didn't see that impact. We saw Essex pick up his solo kill on the Orianna, get a lead on the Swain versus Orianna matchup. So I think that pick's really essential, as well as both junglers. We've seen kind of Jekyll and Hyde from each of them, Game 1 and 2. Gonna have to see Game 3 if they can pull something better out, and hope to see a good game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Producer Pine is telling me we are ready to hop into game number 3. So let's go for it. Final game. Whoa. Okay. This is one hell of a draft to take in all at once, Cubby. There's a Darius. The Volibear made it through for some reason. The Lulu got replaced with the Blitzcrank. On the other side, we've got Lux support instead of Zera support. I think that's an improvement. We've got a Jax. Where do you want to start? Apparently, they want to start level 1.
I want to start with Blitzcrank. Let's see if these rocket grabs can land. This is always an exciting champion. Glad to see it in Game 3 as the first one ends up going wide, and my voice cracks. That's a good combo coming on in.
That's always the best part of casting.
Oh, it's my favorite.
You can healthily support your voice, or you can let it crack, and I love to let it crack. I know it's like technically bad form, and some people are like, "Oh, it sounds bad." I'm like, I don't care. I'm legitimately, if my voice ever cracks, I'm legitimately excited, and I feel like that should pass muster. Just because I'm pumped.
I always like to say that it is the inner kid in me coming out, and the excitement of League of Legends.
Yeah.
As that hook goes wide.
Oh man, Blitzcrank's sick.
I mean, Blitzcrank, he's a champion, one of my personal favorites, and pretty good into this game, right? The silence can be such an incredibly powerful spell. That AoE silence field coming on through, not to mention the rocket grabs, hands down the most impactful spell that Blitzcrank has. Landing a grab on any of the 3 squishies that are on the side of Sachem could spell absolute doom for them. But I think, based on the last game, Iberia, we also have to touch on the Voldabear on our screens right now, because Burly Burger put on a show on this champion in the last game, somehow gets his hands on it again.
Yeah, I think the Hack Room is trying to answer through that, because we've seen that Humphrey does really great on roaming junglers that can move around the map very quickly. So Hack Room definitely fits that mold. I think what's interesting for me here, I have to go back to the Blitzcrank, because normally the drawback of a Blitzcrank is that you like pull in, if you don't get the squishies, you pull in someone who can really mess up your backline.
Yeah.
And that's theoretically possible here if Humphrey still has ult up or something. But realistically, these are not the 2 worst champions to get pulled into your team, especially with the team you have around the Blitzcrank. Usually the problem is you pull in like a tank or something, or an assassin who just then pops your AD carry. But there's so much CC on demand from the side of Brighton that I actually think missing a hook and landing it onto like Vinquin isn't the end of the world. And I think that's a super understated part of Blitzcrank, is like, what happens when you hook wrong? That's really where the weakness, but that's where the weakness of the champion comes from, right? Because nobody is going to hit their hooks 100% of the time. Nobody's going to hit who they're aiming for 100% of the time. Not even Madlib.
Obviously, you haven't seen my Blitzcrank, Iberia. It is.
Oh, of course. Other than Cubby, though.
Rate. Yeah.
Other than you.
It's
like,
undefeated.
Nobody can... Yeah. You can't expect that of anyone not named Cubby. So, I think that's what I'm interested to see late game, is see if that theory is right. Because I suspect... I'm blowing smoke right now, and I'm going to be absolutely wrong. They're going to hook the Heck Room with ultimate, and it's going to spell doom for at least one team fight.
It's not bad because of the silence. That's the big key. And also, Blitzcrank's Power Fist, the knockup, it can cancel Heck Room from speeding up, and so that's another really powerful tool that he's going to have in his arsenal, as well as Clank is pulling out the crank for us in this game. That said, meanwhile, very different flavor we have in the mid lane. Essex once again rocking Ignite in Iberia, but Victor, this is a very late game scaling mage pick, different from the Annie that he played in the Lucian game 1, and something that, looking at his match history on his solo queue count, he's pretty comfortable on.
Yeah, and this is something I'm really interested in, especially with the changes from the new items where you no longer need to build the Hex core. Victor has gotten a significant buff, and looking at this team overall, their late game is monstrous. Now,
yes,
Victor specifically, this is one of your specialties, so I'm going to defer to you on all of its strengths, but he's in a really good spot right now. Oh, hold on, before we do that, because I already burned the heal. Nothing else going to come out. So tell me a little bit more about Victor. How's he doing right now?
Yeah, so Victor, the fact that they swapped his passive, it used to be that he gets an item, has to upgrade it. Now you get to upgrade it for free when you hit 100 CS or 100 tokens, as they call it. Takedowns count as 25 as well. But that just gave him a lot of power because he gets items that he wants a lot faster. Like, he used to have to squeeze in a lost chapter, which would feel really awkward in his build. But now you go straight for Ludens or Leandries into that Witchbane and feel really good on Victor while still getting your item upgrades. And this has made him a really, really strong champion on these patches, just because he feels like a late game mage. Once you hit 2 items, you can get that a lot faster this time as Victor.
And it's interesting to me as well, because it depends on how chaotic the game is, how quickly he scales in a really weird way.
Yes.
Because it's just takedowns. It's not kills. So if you're able to find consistently scrappy 5v5s, Victor actually comes out ahead even if he loses. As long as people from the enemy team also go down. Like, if you have one team fight where 4 people die, even if you get clean aced, is a brand new spell for Victor. That's an augment right there.
Right.
And I think that's like an interesting new dichotomy, is like, how do you play the early game around that? Do you try and accelerate your Victor into victory, or do you kind of let him chill, let him scale up as he's supposed to? Because if you do it just from CS, you'll be waiting until like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, and I mean, something we kind of gave credit to both teams for in the last game, and I want to touch on again now is Lucian gets hooked. Do they pick him off?
He's in a lot of trouble. Not quite down just yet. Explosive Charge will find him. Blitzcrank goes down in the end as well. The Hecarim dives into the back line. The flash stun from the Jax, but the flash response from Rep Zero will keep them alive. Offensive gravity field there from Isak. So 1 for 1. Not bad. Mid laner for support.
Not bad. The dragon does go over, but there was no way they were going to get that. And they do get Jax's TP and flash out, which is going to be very important for Graceful Steel, a player that we've highlighted who has a counter matchup in that lane. I also just want to point out, Niberia, mechanic that you're very familiar with, Rep Zero buffering the CC coming in from Jax on Tristana. It was a beautiful rocket jump coming on out. One way to kind of dodge out on the CC by having it apply during the channel. So good use of those mechanical abilities and fast fingers coming on through from Rep Zero.
Yeah, it's really cool for Clank. Actually, this bot lane's really interesting because you pick away one of 2 counter picks to Blitzcrank.
That is true.
80 carry, from the 80 carry position.
That is true.
Ezreal's the other big one where he can just buffer the Arcane Shift and pop right back out. Something I really enjoy doing to Blitzcrank players.
It feels really bad as a Blitzcrank player.
Oh, it's terrible.
Definitely mental warfare.
Love doing it to Blitzcrank players. Oh, God. Speaking of feeling terrible, Burly Burger has to run away there. Blitzcrank gets hooked in the bottom lane. So it looks like Burger made it out safe. Has to burn the flash for it, but none worse for wear, surprisingly.
Yeah, props to Jax. Came back to lane with an item advantage, and you saw him jumping in immediately. I don't know if he can do it now. He does have a minion wave, and the Q doesn't connect, so this might be a close one if Darius... He should have pressure in this lane, right? Like Darius, he does true damage, which goes through Jax's bonus resistances he gets from his ultimate. So the fact that Jax is kind of hanging in around this matchup, even despite that TP going into the bottom side that didn't get anything, I think is big props going over to Vanquish. And a flash now, too. Wow.
Yeah, and now Burly Burger is too late to the play because Humphrey was already there. Now that's wasting a ton of time for Burly Burger, and I think this is... it's too early to say that this is bad, but it's really not looking great, Covey.
I mean, it's still a close, very, very close game at the moment. And I will say, if I am Sachem, I want to start getting the game moving pretty soon. Because when you look at a team with a Victor, with a Tristana, things get pretty scary. The only scaling elements they're going to have are going to be in their top side, right? Jackson, Hecarim do scale very, very nicely, but I think it's more important that they get things rolling right now. Try and get that Lux to roam and free up the mid lane, just like they did in game 1 with that Xerath.
Yeah, so I'm looking then for Icarite. That's where I'm having my eyes into this early mid game, and we can already see roam up into that mid lane, but I think it's poorly timed with the wave. So can only be for vision at this point. The only objective on the map is going to be that Rift Herald. But I don't think either team is going to go for it. Neither of them has enough of an advantage or a quick enough take of it, considering that the Jax doesn't have Orc or anything, just going for Trinity Force first.
Yeah, and what happened in this top lane matchup, Jax is falling really far behind, had the base, Darius forced him on a lane. You see that 2-level advantage coming on through. Now only a single level, but they might be looking for a dive here in Iberia.
They're looking for it, but...
It's a big wave to zone him off on.
Vin Quinn is well aware of this, Cubby. He's getting out of there real quick.
I love this play from Burly Burger. It's so much golden XP that they're denying from the Jax. It's a very, very valuable play, even though they don't get a kill. Still, really good map awareness coming out from the jungler here of Brighton.
Do you think they should have transitioned that into a Rift Herald?
Darius had to reset, so... No, because if he bases at the same time, he gets to keep that priority. But it is definitely an objective they can look for as Blitzcrank. He snuck behind him, but he doesn't know Hecarim's here.
Blitzcrank! No, run! Flash finds him to safety. So
are we calling it Blitzcrank for the rest of the game? Since it's Clank.
Oh, yeah.
Piloting the Blitzcrank. Now Blitz.
It's Humphrey. Humphrey versus Blitzcrank.
Iberia, it's really good that you're trained in the speech. Whoa. Goodbye.
Okay. There's a lot of burst in that bottom lane. I don't know if we mentioned, folks, but Sachem going to be able to find that kill pretty quick onto Rep Zero, and that's the danger, right?
Yeah, a lot of golden XP lost to Tristana there.
Do you think Lux is just a better version of the Zero support from game 1?
Yes, because you bring more supportive elements. I like Aftershock Lux a lot at support. I feel like it might have been really nice against Blitzcrank as well.
Rough. Blank's not going to be able to find that hook, and as a result, will fall down. It's the second Drake in a row. This is, Brighton's off to a rough start, but Sachem really killing it.
I've really liked Sachem's team play. You can see him moving around these objectives together, able to find picks, and now maybe even Victor being taken down.
Beautiful ultimate in, though, from Burly Burger. Able to find one. The Hecarim tries to ult into the backline. Able to find Isek. Damage coming out from Tristana, but it's not going to be enough, as that Hecarim is just running wild in the backline. Double kill for him. The Xayah there to support with the DPS. Triple now, and the Drake goes over. Remember, this is how Sachem won game number 1. They abandoned their top laner, let Vinquin just kind of chill, and played as a group, 4-man group for the rest of the map, and were able to find objective. Vinquin later scaled back into the game. It's the exact same pattern repeating itself.
And I'd say NASCAR, I think, looks a lot more comfortable on the Xayah, having a really nice team fight there, as once again, Sachem was clumped up, taking the dragon, and do a good job of managing that fight. Props to Humphrey on the Hecarim. You said that he wanted someone with more move speed. This one doesn't roll, but he does prance, and it seems to be going pretty well for him so far, picking up those kills on the Hecarim.
Yeah, 3-0-2, almost to that Divine Sunder, and at that point, it's going to be a really, really big power spike.
Oh, you haven't heard? It's Divine Sundere.
Of course.
Yeah, me and Matt Magical are all about that one. Another fellow caster that is a very good friend of ours.
Uh-oh. Volley has to flash away. So Burly is like having a bad time, but it's not his fault, if that makes any sense. Yeah. The rest of the map just doesn't have any pressure, and he by himself can't apply enough to break 3 people away from him. So yeah, he's 2-1. Yeah, he's trying to make plays around the map, but there's just so much damage everywhere. There's so many people trying to fight him. It's rough.
Yeah, and Hecarim wrapping up that Divine Sundere is going to be a big issue here, because you mentioned the Rift Herald a few times in Iberia. It seems like with that item and maybe Lucian, the word being dropped, he could look to take Shelly, utilize that to knock down one of the towers. Will not grant plates, but mid tower is still a very valuable objective to take. Shelly can very much help with that.
That is the next objective on the map, of course, with both those dragons down. So that's where we're going to be looking for plays to happen. As you said, Humphrey's up there just vibing, and Burrito is there to follow. So this is going to be the pace of the match for the next few minutes. Is going to be that Rift Herald's going to be dropped somewhere. They're going to break first turret. They're going to try and use that to get some vision established. I'm kind of wondering where you drop it at this point, because none of the outer towers have taken any damage whatsoever.
You just got to throw it mid. That's the most valuable tower to take, right? So you were very correct in saying that none of those have taken valuable damage, but oh, we have a flash. He's going for it.
Maybe able to find it. No, the ult just doesn't do any damage. The healing from Jax is so strong. I don't even know if the Hecarim was needed. And now, shoving in the waves, I wouldn't drop that Herald just yet.
Yeah, I don't think Volley's going to look for the Jax. There's a huge 1v1 kill coming out from Vinquin, and Nibiru, you mentioned it. He's being left on his own, right? He's doing this against resources being thrown at him and shutting down a player that we feel is very strong on the side of Brighton. So the fact that Vinquin's able to come up this big in the matchup spells really good things for Sachem as they try and take the rest of the map.
It's interesting to me, too, because as a former top lane player who played exclusively Quinn, I'm feeling for Steel right now. Because you have these matchups where you like get a CS lead, you're feeling strong, but you just like cannot finish the kill. You cannot finish the 1v1, and you end up falling behind as a result. So you'll have a CS advantage, but your map is falling behind. Your jungler is not able to keep up with you and is not able to help you secure those kills. So Steel is just in a really rough position. Maybe able to find this.
You might win this one.
Need a heal and an ult. Meanwhile, Isaac takes damage from Akurite. Jax finally falls, as Darius barely able to hold on to that one.
Akurite from downtown in the river. That's the roam up we were talking about in Iberia. Manages to find that one, take down the Victor in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Darius finally got those passive stacks against Jax, so he goes down to the bleed damage coming through on that champion. Another wave crashed, and Graceful Steel taking a little bit of control back in the top lane. That said, I'm starting to get excited for this upcoming Dragon fight in Iberia, because it feels like both these teams are pretty much handshaking kills across the map. And nothing's going to really happen until we have that Dragon come on up, which it is in less than a minute. See the resets coming on out from both teams. Going to have to see how they set up and control the river. If Blitzcrank gets in there first, it's really tough to face check him. Same with Lux. So I'm looking for mid-priority indoor river control for both of these teams. And it seems like Brighton, a little bit ahead on the play, right? Victor's already about to crash into that mid lane. So the earlier reset might pay off big for Brighton.
And I think this is an interesting turning point in the game, because if you're able to transition this fight into something, if Steel is able to come into this fight with those components and say, okay, I'm going to slap through this fight, we're going to find our advantage here, suddenly everything's worth it. But if you look at Steel's build, there's no Mythic completed versus the completed Trinity Force for Vinquin. And honestly, this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but I wanted to see a little bit of healing reduction, because I'm consistently seeing in these fights that Vinquin is just healing up just above the kill threshold. And granted, that's Corrupting Potion, and that's like super not worth mitigating. But it is rather frustrating on the side of Steel.
All right, they're lying in wait. I don't know if they see Blitzcrank. If they poke on through, they might be able to win.
Teleport's coming in. Oh. Darius coming in with the flank from the side, may be able to find two in the back line, the Xayah and the Lux. Lux flashes away, Engage comes out, but that's going to be the Darius down. Fight comes in, Tristana looking for the Hecarim, will be able to find him. There's the shutdown. Burly Burger looks for the Lux, but gets taken down instead by Acherite. Blitzcrank and Tristana need to find a way out of this now. They try and re-engage on Lucian. One more auto will do it. They find it, but the Lux finishes them off. A double kill for Acherite. And no Dragon for you, Brighton.
Brighton, they fall. They get aced, and I think the biggest part about this is that Vinquin, he didn't join the fight. They just won a 4v5 where they took down all 5 members of Brighton, really off the back of Xayah. That flash from NASCAR into the rip on the E did so much damage to the front line of Brighton, and also bought so much time. Volibear had to pretty much, get in, make sure that Xayah went down, and gave his life for that one as well. So we might just see this one ran back in Iberia. The fact that Dragon doesn't go down, that fight was so bloody, I think they're going to go at it again.
I certainly hope so. They're a lot of fun to watch.
More action, yay!
Yeah, Graceful Steel finally has a Mythic, so this may help a little bit.
And
I'm
Ultimate.
not sure how I feel about the Stride Breaker first, but I suppose it is better than Gore Drinker at the moment, because you're not going to be able to find yourself in the middle of those fights all that much. An uncontested trait is rather surprising.
I think that if you are Sachem, you would rather take the gold at this point. I know that Soul Point is very powerful, but we do want to see them start to snowball this game a little bit quicker. I think that a little bit of gold, especially placed on the Hecarim and the Lucian who got it, getting those 2 item spikes first might be more beneficial as they try and force around the upcoming Dragon and now possibly the Baron, which we do have coming out on the map here in a minute.
Oh god, here comes the
Oh
Hecarim.
my goodness, that's a fast pony.
Oh my god. Onslaught of Shadows is enough.
Oh no!
Hook's not gonna land. Poor Clank. Rep Zero just getting assassinated out of nowhere. Like, that's... Once you see a Hecarim ghosting at you with ultimate, you know as an AD carry that your life has ended.
Yeah, Humphrey galloping to victory. And Pony faster than Bear, I think is what I learned in this one.
Yeah, I think that tracks to real life as well. Flash away from the Jax, away from the Gravity Field and Chaos Storm. Good defense there by Isek, but it's not enough. They're kind of just seeding objectives around the map. They're losing fight after fight, and they're like trying to scavenge little pieces here and there, but Brighton are having a really rough time. Oh god, he's back. Humphrey is terrifying at this point, and that's going to be a Volibear in trouble. Tries to find damage to the Xayah, but will not. The double kill for Humphrey.
Big carry in game 1, showing up here in game 3, the Hecarim. I must say, this is a pivot. You were talking about jungle picks for Humphrey coming into this one. I think Hecarim might have been the perfect answer, because it seems like he's having a good time in this matchup.
It's just carry Nunu. I think that's a maybe contentious statement to make, but it is literally the same concepts of find your way around the map, find your ganks, secure your objectives.
I just like
very good at doing all that.
I just like Hecarim because the more you press Q, it just always feels like a helicopter. So it's like you're just spinning the wind. Yeah.
And I think it's 7-1 in 5. Humphrey has really found his jam, so to speak. Oh god, Darius, I don't think you win this one.
Graceful Steel, miss D, miss Q, and then when you don't land your abilities, you're gonna end up going down when Lucian lands everything.
I think, you know, even if he had landed that, I think that would have been a rough fight for the Darius. I think he is so far behind, and
Mhm.
for Darius itemization, there's not like a way back into it. There's not a way to be like a utilitarian tank. Like,
It
you
is a
can't be like, I'm
feast or
just
famine.
gonna CC.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same for Jax, but Jax can even farm back up into the game if he wants. Darius has no such outcome.
Jax is only
Um,
feast, man. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's you are relevant into the game no matter where you are in Jax once you get 2 items. Darius, unfortunately, if you don't get ahead, you start to struggle. I think we're seeing this here. In Iberia, we have the state championship for New York. I think things are starting to get a little bit one-sided here for Sachem. They've set themselves up really well in this game, and my eyes, they really go over to this Blitz Clank coming on out for Clank. I want to see a couple rocket grabs land. That might be what they need to turn this game around.
Yeah, he looks slightly uncomfortable on it. And I think, much like Meteos at Worlds, he will figure it out in the later stages of the game.
The 40-minute
But
Lee
the
Sin
problem,
kick.
yeah, the problem is getting to that 40 minutes. I legitimately think that if Brighton can find their way to a 40-minute game, they will find a win state.
Okay.
Volibear scales fine. Victor scales really well, as does Tristana. The problem is just going to be getting there. They've denied the soul point, and that is powerful because they no longer have that 27-minute win condition looming over them. There's the hook. That's the hook I'm talking about. No, the Jax goes right onto the Tristana. I was wrong. That's not the hook you want. Now the Blitzcrank coming into the back of the fight, trying to do anything as Isak gets taken low. Darius doing so much healing in the backline, but it's not enough as Xayah finishes off the team. The double comes in for Humphrey, and they pivot right onto Baron. Sachem looking so strong.
Oh, the flash. That's tragic. You end up hooking the Jax instead of the Xayah. Your carries get stunned. Sachem are able to wipe the fight off of that. I liked the thought coming in from Clank, but it's just not going to happen. Hacker and Xayah, they're going to rip down this Baron, take that one for themselves. Big lead coming out now for Sachem.
I think it's gotten to the point where, you know, I posited at the beginning of the game that there is no bad hook target considering an even game.
You found it.
Yeah, I was surmising that if you use hook as an initiation into the fight and you save your CC, no matter who you hook, you can burst and kill them.
Yeah.
That it still holds true. Problem is when you make a hook in the middle of a fight when your CC isn't up from your tanks and stuff, and that is exactly what happened there for Brighton. And as a result, they just really didn't have anything. They are hard committing to this Drake. I think it's the right call, but
They have
we're
to.
shocked to see that teleport.
I feel like Sachem, they're late on the reset. They might have the angle that they need on this one. And let's see if Blitzcrank, see if one of those hooks can land at the right target this time.
Humphrey has ultimate still available.
Oh my
Isak
goodness.
is getting soloed out. They really just need to turn on to this Drake. Like, there's no way you win this fight. You need to turn on to the Drake and deny the point if you do anything. Or get out. Those are your two options. Meanwhile, Tristana going to be able to find one over the wall, but the rest of the fight, like I said, not going to go your way. Now, Rep Zero has to find a way out of this.
Split call coming in from Brighton. I think pressure might be a factor here. Is Darius caught out? He's going to be going down here as well, most likely.
Yeah, Onslaught of Shadows lands onto him. Tristana firing away as best she can, but it's so sad. The little tippy taps, they're not going to be enough there from that cannon. And Jack's so strong right now, able to pound that one through. Sachem now sitting on a 10k gold lead and soul point.
This game has been all Sachem. I think it's so impressive. Iberia, keep in mind, team of 4 juniors that we have here. Looking at a state championship. Pretty scary if you think about next year, and compliments to these guys for how they have played in this game as well. Blitzcrank, though, still fishing. I don't know. I don't think they know there's Jax. That shield might have given it away.
Yeah, oh god.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my god. Akerite, beautiful snipe there.
Man, he's making these mage champions look pretty good in the bot lane.
Yeah, I don't think my emotional range was ready for that play.
Nope.
Because that was definitely more shocking, but I just so was not expecting it.
I didn't
Neither
see
was
the
Rep
E.
Zero.
Yeah, the E snuck out from under me. I was not able to see that, and that was half the health bar gone there for Rep Zero. From 50 to 0.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jackson Lux just duo pushing this. If you told me Jackson Lux were going to be the most terrifying duo combo this game, I would have laughed in your face. But I guess now everyone else has the permission to laugh in my face. So
I don't know, man. I'm
there
still
we
looking
go.
at the 11-1-7 Hackroom, and I feel like the most terrifying duo has to have something to do with him. Oh!
You'd think, but he's just kind of soloing.
He
Look at him.
is.
He's healing from the tower.
Jeez.
He's not actually taking damage. That's disgusting. Lucian having double lift vibes right into Isek, but Isek is not crowned, doesn't have the damage. Bro Rita will survive for the time being, makes it through the Chaos Storm. Darius looking for it, Stride Breaker, not going to find the range, but the Q will.
Kills straight across
the map.
Still in the same situation though. Zaya trying to siege down these towers.
Oh my god.
You mentioned earlier that Boulder Bear, he scales okay. Yeah, he always has that point and click stun. Hecarim though scales superbly on this champion, as I think we've seen that come through this game. The Divine Sunder into Death's Dance, into a Dead Man's Plate. This pony's zooming to the finish line as the rest of Sachem try to go to the finish line as well, take down the Nexus. They got a few objectives in their way before they're able to claim a state championship, but they seem to be on the path of victory.
They're on their way. Things are looking really dark for Brighton right now. If they can find a few picks, that will delay it. But until you can get to that like 30-35 minute game, you're not going to be able to even compete here. Looking for the kill onto the Jax. They have the hook available. He flashes over the wall. They find the hook instead onto Humphrey. That is 4 people on the Hecarim, and he only loses half of his health.
And runs away.
Yep, Jax looking for the stun with the counter-strike will instead just jump away to Humphrey. There comes the rest of the team. That's the disengage for Brighton.
Another objective
They
falls.
lose a turret.
Yeah.
Yep.
Minions. That's a lot of golden XP lost as well. It feels like this game is riding on the hopes of a rocket grab from Clank. If one of those can connect on the Zaya, on the Lucian, I still think that this team might...
Onto Lux.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Really?
Lux is doing so much damage at this point. That's a probably priority target number 1. As
Ooh,
Zaya.
They're able to find the pull onto the Zaya, but she flashes away. A beautiful ultimate from Akerite as well. Blitzcrank able to find one good hook, but it's not going to be enough to save the fight. The Lucian is coming in from the side. Flank comes forward. Blitz finds the knockup, but will not find the finish. Victor trying to run away. Tristana over the wall. No. Misses the flash. Rep Zero cracks under the pressure just a little bit. Will be able to find their way out most likely unless a miracle binding from Akerite comes out. But Hecarim just runs down Isek.
Oh, this Hecarim is so fast, man. He pops Ghosted. There's anyone in sight is going down. He is level 16 on the pony. Lucian's level 16 as well in Iberia. It's been a tough battle, great game 2 from Brighton, but I feel like that Sachem High School, they're just too much. It's inevitable at this point. State championship going over to them.
Sachem will take it 2-1 after this team fight. A valiant start to the defense. The Jax comes in. Vinquin able to put out enough damage to take down Clank. There goes Burly Burger as well, just under the fountain. And that will be the full ace coming out as Sachem secure their victory and their spot as #1 high school team in New York.
They pad the stats, take 37 kills on a 29-minute win. Sachem University or High School. Congrats to you. You're still in high school. You're a bunch of juniors. We might see you again next year fighting for the state championship. And impressive play coming out of them. And congrats. I mean, I think after game 2 loss, things get pretty grim. Seems like Sachem kept their head on their shoulders, looked really good. Brighton slipped up a couple times that game 3. Might have gotten nervous. Sachem ended up coming out on top.
Yeah, I think it was really impressive from Sachem the way they were able to repeat their game 1 performance almost step for step. You look away, it feels like their top laner is used to playing weak side, is used to playing on their lonesome, and that was really the key victory here because you have Graceful Steel, who is a very strong top laner in the solo lane, but was not able to transition that into kills into a proper snowball. As a result, you're just left with essentially no lead on the map. Tristana never ended up doing much damage. Isek was so low the entire time, was never able to get those items. And Humphrey just ran around the map, taking kill after kill after kill, objective after objective. And that's how you win League of Legends. This is a literal textbook example of how a jungler can solo carry a game.
Get kills, take towers, take neutral objectives. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's just the game.
That's about all you need.
You don't even need the kills, but if you're a Hecarim and you're able to find them, go for it, because at the end of the game, you'll be able to just run them down.
Yeah.
This is a strategy we've seen work even into collegiate. If you remember one of the events we cast, Dragon Jindy uses this strategy with any of the teams he runs with.
Yep.
Grandmaster jungler, incredibly talented, carries on Hecarim, just runs the game over. And I think Humphrey is showing that come 1 or 2 years, they're going to be one hell of a jungling prospect in University.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the play and also the team play. I mean, those dragon setups and kind of they had a couple late resets that they were able to recover. And also, I mean, just the mental fortitude. I mean, these are a bunch of high scores. I think it says a lot. They were able to come back after a loss and have a pretty dominant win for game 3. So congrats to these guys. Excited for them. New York, that's a big state. Taking a state championship there, it's got to feel pretty good. And also, favorite video game as well? Not too bad.
Yep. And I think, you know, really, Sachem, congratulations for the win, but congratulations to Brighton as well for putting up such an incredible fight. Like, this was, not to put too fine a point on it, but it was an incredibly close series. And it could have been anyone's game, but Sachem, game 3, absolutely rolled through it. So congratulations to them. But before we go, if you are interested in participating in some of this fine League of Legends action courtesy of Play Versus, signups are now open for 2021 spring. You can head over to playversus.com. Signups, the season will start on March 1st. So check that out at playversus.com. Enroll today for spring 2021. From us in the New York section of the games, we're out. Congratulations again to Sachem. We will see you next time with more Play Versus League of Legends action.